Welcome to the Release Your Blocks podcast. I am your host, Victoria Bond. I am a spiritual empowerment coach. I help teach others to show up to their potency so they can fulfill their mission here on earth. I'm so glad you are here. And if you are interested in becoming a medium, if you're interested in becoming a life coach, or if you're interested in shifting your life from the 3D to live more in the 5D reality, then check me out, book a clarity call, and let's get chatting.
Beautiful people. Today I want to have a talk to you about ego. The ego checks, the observer of the ego, your identity of who the fuck you think you are, and basically the patterns that you have been through your whole entire life right up until this point. Now, if you're a holistic practitioner, if you are interested in all the, the self-help books, if you have been diving into spirituality for a while now, then you will understand a little bit about the ego. Maybe you've read The Power of Now, A New Worth, whatever. So you probably have a little bit of an understanding, but it doesn't mean that you don't buy into the ego, because everyone does. Everyone does, including myself. And it is seriously so freaking interesting when we are growing in consciousness what actually happens when we're growing, because as you know, we're on this earth where there is this polarity of right and wrong and good and bad, and that is how we've been conditioned and programmed for forever, right? So within ourselves, within our parents and all the lines and society as a whole, we have been conditioned and programmed to function from the ego, from the good and the bad and the wrong and the right, instead of from a higher consciousness, which is actually coming from a place of having no judgment. So, suffering is one of the most important teachings that we can have here on planet Earth. And every single one of us experiences our ego. So today I just want to have a little bit of a dive into this and share a little bit of a story of, what I've experienced in my life with ego, with the pain body, and with the learnings of what self-identity is and having an attachment to that, and how that's actually not completely, totally and utterly healthy. Okay, so having a bit of a sense of who you are is healthy, but when you attach it to material things or worthiness or value, then it's actually not. So in other words, if you are trying to prove your worthiness and your value by connecting that to who you are as an identity, then it is not healthy, because we go into comparing, we go into all these different things. So why is the ego here? Now, the ego is here to, keep us safe in a sense, because there's a light and a heavy for everything, polarity. So, even when we are going to the depths of I am a piece of shit, I am an evil person, oh my God, who do I think I am? It's never going to work. I can't put that product out. I can't put the offering out. Who do I think I am? Oh my God, who am I? We go into this chaos of I'm not good enough, and we start trying to grab things, solid things. So judgments and points of views. We try to grab onto things like, judgments of other people, not just ourselves. If we're judging ourselves, we are judging other people. I can guarantee you that. If someone is sitting there and they are dissing themselves, and they are so low within themselves, within their identity, because of this voice in their head, I can guarantee you they are judging other people, maybe not verbally, but they're definitely judging them in their head, because they are stuck in their mind. They are stuck in the thinking mind, and they have created this entity that goes round and around and around and around. It's called mind chatter. This is what the ego is really fantastic at doing. The point of going through this is we can come out on the other side by becoming the observer of what is going on, which doesn't mean observing the fuck out of your thoughts and getting even more confused in the knot of what you're, what are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? Because that there again is judgment. Instead, it is looking back from this kind of expanded space, which is kind of like when you expand. If you've worked with me, you know what I'm talking about. You expand right out to the universe and you observe yourself from afar and see what the truth is and trusting the truth of you. So, okay, when we are going into the ego, this can happen at different places and different times, right? Now, when we are about to grow and expand in abundance and joy and, our sacral is like going, yes, I am a divine goddess and the world is mine. I'm here to be this contribution. You guys all know what I'm talking about when you're like, I'm on fire. I feel aligned. I feel fantastic. I feel like doing all the things and showing up. All of a sudden, it's like we come off that wave because you start thinking, right? You come out of your heart center. You come out of this, oh my God, I feel powerful, into this, oh no. But what if I'm separate from? The ego tries to make you separate from other people. Therefore, you become in fear and afraid of being successful. Or the other end of that is, what if I fail and I look like a dick? And the ego is like, what if you fail and look like a dick? And the ego is in the other ear too, because there's like, all these things going around in your head. It's called mind chatter, and it's going, what if you're so successful that they no longer will love you or receive you? What if you show up as yourself and you prove that you're a complete fucking weirdo and they don't love you anymore? The gig is up. The gig is up. They will know your truth. Off comes your head, or you will be so unlovable that no one will love you anymore. Does this make sense to you? Have you ever been so connected with the pain of wanting to show up but not being able to? And when I say showing up, I mean showing up to the world as the crazy, animated, beautiful, high-functioning person that you are. Showing all your glory, showing yourself as a whole. And then what happens is you realize it's not safe to be you. Because you're going to make other people feel uncomfortable. Because you're going to feel uncomfortable. Because you're going to become separate to them. So you go, oh, fuck it, I'm not even going to bother. I'm going to fail or I'm going to succeed, and guess what? I can't succeed anyway in either of those. Look at all those people over there getting their heads cut off, right? Look at all these people getting their heads cut off because they're successful. Look at all the famous people. Everyone has an opinion about them. They try to make them separate from. So if you're dissing famous people, I hate that person. Look at those Kardashians. Look at them go. They get paid for doing nothing. You're in your ego. Like, who are we to judge? Who are we to judge? And who are we to judge other people judging us? Ego is very interesting because if you're buying into somebody else's complaining or their points of view, if you're buying into like the whole resonating with them, like this happens in bad relationships, right? In bad relationships, when you fire each other up, either dissing each other or dissing another person and really getting wrapped up, that is ego, right? And the ego wants to make you separate from. So when you start rising, your ego turns around and starts dissing you. You are not good enough. What if you are a fraud? What if your clients don't get results? What if people don't like what you're offering? What if people judge you? Do they really secretly know? Do they know that you're a bitch? Because you're just about to show them what an evil bitch you really are. You've been playing nice for so long, but what if you're really not that nice? What if you are a bitch and a fraud? And you know what? You even sweat that you know, like the blinkers on, the whatever, you sweat that over your parents. Like, your parents don't even know who you are. They don't know what a little bitch you secretly are, or how sassy you are, or how manipulative you are. You hide that shit from the world. Your ego tells you this is a part of who you are. So when you go to show up, and you show up and you're like, here I am, world, it's like scary. Who's going to come out and prove that I'm a fraud? Who is going to prove that I'm a fraud? Who actually am I? Do I truly believe I can help others? Right? So this is some of the stuff that I have been through massively, and I was stuck in that for a long time. And now what happens is, when I feel this wave of the ego coming, because I know I'm just about to do another quantum leap and change people's lives, or help them change their lives, what actually happens is I start feeling, oh no, here it comes. It's like this wave. And it's like all of a sudden, I'm like, I've got a lot of action going on in my head. What's going on right now? Is this spirit? Is this other people's thoughts? Oh, interesting. It's like someone's talking to me right now. What is this? Victoria, what if you're not good enough? What if you're a fraud? Do they know how manipulative and what a bitch you truly are? Do they know how evil you are? Do they know the thoughts that you've had? Do they know that you're a judgmental bitch? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? And then you go, but what if I haven't been doing this business for long enough? What if I can't maintain it? What if he finds out? What if my lover finds out I'm not really a good person? What if they find out I said this about them? Oh my gosh, what if they find out I used to make myself sick so I could be skinny? Oh my God, and all of a sudden all these deep, dark secrets start coming in, and these images and these memories of the past. And they start coming in, and you start getting in this dark cloud of, I am not what people think I am. Now, this is the ego. This is not you. Okay, so the ego is going, stop. You're growing too hard. You're growing too fast. We must stop her. We must stop him. Now, what happens, and I find this really interesting, is people come into my realm and relational blocks and my mastermind, even into my membership or one-to-ones, and they hit the ego hard, right? The ego comes in and the ego goes, who do you think you are for investing in this program? Oh my gosh, what is your husband going to think? Oh my gosh, I have to prove my worthiness and prove my value for spending this money. Oh my God, you didn't deserve to spend that amount of money on you. You've got children. You didn't deserve to invest this time in you. Who do you think you are, taking an hour a week out of your time to meditate and to come into yourself? You're not good enough. If they only knew what a psycho, what a manipulative little girl you were. Like, none of this makes sense, right? It's absolute insanity, but I can guarantee, hello everybody, I can guarantee that all of this energy is swirling around every single one of you, right? So the interesting thing is that suffering is one of the most important teachings. When this ego starts getting its grips on you, if you can become the observer from a distance with love and no judgment and space, something magical happens. That ego goes from this mind chatter. I mean, how many people are on meds and beat themselves up because they secretly think they're bad people? We have everything within ourselves, right? And when you're observing this from a distance, and that's why, all my programs have a lot of meditation, and I take you through these amazing activations, and galactic light coding is one of these things that is starting very, very soon to do this daily, right, for a week. And we become the observer, and we start seeing that this isn't true. We start seeing that you're not a fraud. We start seeing that people that love you want you to be successful. The earth wants you to be successful. The beings want you to be successful. We see that the pain that we went through as little children was not our fault or even our pain, but we may have carried it for others. We start seeing the truth, right? And one of the things that we can know is that our self-value and our self-worth does not come from the things that we have done. Like, good girl for making your bed. Well done. Oh, Victoria, you're such a good girl for always helping out. You know, so when we get this given to us as children, our parents didn't know any different. You know, they probably did better than their parents. Let's face it, we're evolving. And we go, when I serve others and I'm a good girl and I don't put myself first, I put others first, then I'm worthy of being loved and I have proven my value. Can you see how silly that is? Because everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. So, what is the opposite to ego? So if the ego is about you identifying massively with who you are from the things that you have done and being separate from, so that's what happens. Your pain builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And you're like, I'm so fucking alone. Nobody understands me. I am a fraud. I don't even think I'm lovable. That is ego. To keep you small, to keep you solid, to keep you hidden. On the opposite of that is love, is gratitude, is expansion. And it is really coming to that point of, I am me. I am worthy and valuable. I receive love because I woke up. I am me and I am worthy because I am. Huge difference. I have to prove myself. I don't have to prove myself. I'm a total psycho bitch and no one knows how my dirty little secrets of how manipulative I truly am. Let's face it, every single person's been manipulative, whether they've known it consciously or not. Or everything's perfect. I am perfect. I'm going through an experience and I am open and willing to receive all the magic that comes my way. I am perfect the way I am. Complete contrast. When you are sitting in ego, what you must do is do an ego check. Okay, I do this all the time. An ego check is really going, okay, my affirmation is, I trust my truth. What does my truth say? And I come into my heart and I go, I trust my truth. And what does my truth say? As these voices are coming in, you're not good enough. What if you don't get anybody? What if you can't maintain it? What if people hate you? What if you're too crazy? And when you show your craziness, your parents aren't going to love you. This is the type of stuff that comes up. Not just for me, for everybody. You know, and I'd love to know what comes up for you as well. Okay? And then what I do is like, what is my truth here? What is my truth? If I know my worthiness and I know that my value doesn't come from the giving, doesn't come from what I'm doing as the good girl, it's coming from me being me, then what is my truth? And I sit with it and I allow myself to expand and I allow myself to see the truth of the situation. And I allow myself to recognize why the ego is coming in to try and stop me. And then I come into massive bouts of gratitude and go, I'm just about to fucking explode in consciousness. And then all of a sudden it's like that ego crumbles down around me and it melts off me and I go, thank you for that awareness. Thank you to my higher self. Thank you to God. Thank you to my angels. Thank you to all the people around me, whatever. Thank you to beautiful Gaia and the planets, whatever. Thank you. And I go, what do I need to know here? And I sit with myself in quiet. And I lose all identity of who I am and all the attachments that I thought created Victoria. And I don't know who the fuck I am. Many people come to me and they go, I don't know who I am. And we start working together. And I'm like, that's great. And they do one or two things. They go deeper into the ego and they give up and they run because they are so fucking scared of letting go of who they thought they were. Or they hold in there and they observe. They come into gratitude and go, who the fuck am I? Who am I? Let's start. Let's start now. Okay? So, you know, going into that shadow self of the ego and allowing yourself to write it down. Like, I've got my journal in front of me, and yesterday I felt this ego come in. I was like, this is really interesting. I didn't go into judgment. I just went, this is really interesting. I've got mind chatter. Check. That's usually ego for me if I've got mind chatter. The second thing is, am I good enough? Am I doing enough? Am I worthy? How do I prove my value? I started getting these things. I was like, whoa, this is really a lot of limitations coming up. And instead of going into judgment and squashing that ego down just so it compresses and explodes, what I did is I allowed the ego to come in. I said to my husband, because I was in the bath, I said, look, can you please just leave me alone for a moment, because I'm purging right now. There's so much to learn within the shadow self. Yes, Leah. And what I did is I wrote and I wrote and I wrote pages. And I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And I exploded into more consciousness, because I allowed the bitch to come out on the page. I allowed the fraud to come out on the page. I allowed every little thought, because I was in my thinking mind, to come out on the page. And then by the end of it, I gave myself a beautiful little message, right? And I was just like, yeah, Victoria, I have your back, and it's safe. And there is no emergency. Everything is okay. Everything is fine. And there's a whole lot more to that. But I wrote 3 pages of shadow. I allowed it to come up so I could see it. And I didn't judge it. I just said, I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you. Thank you, ego, because you just showed me what I required to see. And I wanted to tell you guys this as well, because quite often we look at holistic practitioners and coaches like myself, and you know, I've got a high-level coach, and there's many high-level coaches out there. You may be one listening as well. But when we're trying to have our shit together, as a coach, as a holistic practitioner, as a mum, as anybody, we're trying to keep our shit together to prove our worthiness and value, that we've done enough for people to listen to us. Doesn't work, you know, because we're not fucking perfect and we're not God. We're here to grow and expand continuously. As my incredible galactic light coding is coming through, of course ego is going to come in and say, you're doing light codes and talking to the galactic, and this is going to be next level different. I've never seen this done before. I've never seen somebody do galactic light coding for an entire week in a program and then following on with the 7 weeks of it for integration in this 5D. I haven't seen that. I'm sure it's out there. But then that whole, you're different, you're doing light codes, you're doing light language, you're talking to fucking aliens from other planets. It's that type of energy, and this logical, practical mind that's conditioned just goes, you know. So it's like, as you're sitting there, and I wasn't focusing on the program, it was all these other things, these memories coming up about, I'm a manipulating bitch who, you know, should be this and should be that and should be this. It's not all love and light and fluffy. It's gritty, it's wonky, it's all perfect, it's all fucking beautiful. Thank you. It is all beautiful. When I sat there and I cried, and I went out and I gave my husband a cuddle and a kiss, and I said, wow, I just had the most beautiful purge. I'm ready to shine. I'm ready to be here for my clients. And I had a 3-hour bath. And the rest of the day, I did beautiful things, 3D things, you know. I napped, I watched TV, I was with my children, we watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I was just being, with no identity of who I am. I know my name is Victoria, I know I've got these children and this husband and this house, and I know that I'm here for a big fucking thing. And my ego came in to try to grab onto who I thought I was, and I was like, I'm just going to give you a whole lot of love. Come here, ego. Come here. Just like a child having a tantrum. Come here. I want to hold you into my heart, and I'm going to listen to everything you say. And one thing I got from that was, we've got pleasure, we've got pain. What do you align and you agree to more? Because 99% of you, before you do this work, it's the pain body that we love. And as you can see in the description of what I've written, right? It's like when we're thinking about darkness, when we're thinking about we're not good enough, the guilt and toxic shame and just manipulation and evil, all this stuff comes in. And it feels so good to beat ourselves up. This is things that people don't admit. It feels so good to complain and judge others, especially judging ourselves. And it's okay if we judge others as long as we judge ourselves more. This is a reality that we've been conditioned into, right? There's also another beautiful part of this, and that beautiful part is I am love, and I'm worthy of receiving all the things because I am. And if people do not want my offers, if they don't want to be on my lives, if they don't want to listen to my podcast, if they don't want to be one-to-one clients, whatever, it's okay because I know that I trust my truth. Okay, so if you are stuck in your head, right, there's different things you can do. There's a lot of shadow type of work you can do. When it comes into, when you're calling on this kind of surrendering, allowing yourself to have somebody that you can trust, allowing yourself to crumble down that pain and not going into that hole, that depression hole, that ego is just like pow, 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 pow. And it's usually those people that are extremely gifted. So having someone to hold space for you, like a coach, doing the shadow work, there's many books out of there as well. And if you're listening to this and you're ready to transcend and really bring through the 5D and the 3D together so you can actually have a really good understanding of the suffering, but also really knowing what to do, showing you how the suffering arises. That's what I've been trying to do, is show you here, and then also showing you how the suffering ends. I no longer am a victim. I no longer am a sufferer. But it doesn't mean that I don't do the shadow work. Okay, so I hope this is making sense to you guys. I wanted to jump on and share this because I see it as a projector in the human design. I see this in many, many people. And every now and then I buy into it. I'm feeling so sorry for you. Yeah, you shouldn't be treated like that. You know the story. We sit there and we just start egoing each other. Egging each other on. And what happens with that is the ego grows bigger. We're not here to be in judgment. We're here to be space. There's different types of ego. I'm not going to get into that, but there's also this collective ego that we have, and we can see that in armies. We can see that in wars. We can see that in different, thank you, Helen, in different ways. But the one thing that we must do is to come into ourselves and do an ego check. If my husband and I, we used to do this, right, after watching The Power of Now, A New Earth, all those different things, by reading those books, if we started fighting, we're like, there's no point in fighting. So we'd go ego check. We'd both ego check. We'd just both go ego check. And we'd be like, okay, you've just got an interesting point of view. I've got an interesting point of view. If you are coming from need and want, and you're like, oh my God, I need clients. Oh my God, I can't show up. I'm scared of judgment. You're functioning more from your pain body and more from the ego than you are of enlightenment. Enlightenment doesn't mean that you get it and I'm having, 100K, months or whatever. You're not getting to that point and going, everything's fine. No, because the shadow still comes in, because you're here to expand and grow. The ego still comes in. So this work is so important. So I would love to take you on a journey. There's many ways to work with me. I'd love to take you on a journey of expanding, a journey of actually understanding how the suffering ends, an understanding of being that observer, an understanding of having the galactic light codes coming through you and activating your body. All right, this 5D, complete, knowing that you're not only in the dimension of your head or your heart or your body, or different lives, or different lives at the same time. There's just so many places to go, but we keep identifying ourselves as a human, and that's it. But we're everything. And so much needs to come in, and having an understanding of ourselves first and foremost, so we can be the best mothers, so we can be the best coaches, so we can be the best lovers, so we can be a lover for ourselves. Because for so long it has been in the paradigm of the men must look after the woman. The woman must serve the men. You must procreate. And that's all shifting. This next 6 months is going to be expansive in this last 6 months of 2021. We are here to rise. We are here to acknowledge the ego and allow it and see the beautiful, freaking, incredible teaching it's giving us. Not running and fucking hiding and freaking out about what's happening in the world. Collective ego, right? So I'm going to leave you guys there. If you are interested in coming into this incredible galactic light coding, let me know, because I just know it's going to be next level. If you are one-to-one with me, or if you're in my mastermind, you are naturally going to be put straight into the 1 week program, which is starting on the 14th of June. And then, of course, you have the opportunity to purchase a 7 week program as well. I've never done anything like this. Light language, daily activations, integration, channeling. I'm preparing myself by allowing myself to do shadow, by allowing myself to be served, by allowing myself to be present. And I recommend that you come into presence every day and allow yourself to be. And if you don't know who you are, that's perfectly okay, because I trust my truth is exactly where we want to function from coming into this next kind of year, right? So I love you, truly love you, with no attachments, and I trust that you can have a beautiful day. I trust that you can have a beautiful week, a beautiful month, a beautiful fucking rest of the year. Thank you for spending this time listening to this. I honor you, and I will see you next time. Bye.
And that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for joining the Release Your Blocks podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear from you. So please leave a review and tell me what your favorite takeaway from today was. There is so much more from where this came from. You can also find me at Holistic Energy Shifting on Facebook, where you can find more content, more coaching, and more guidance. Have a grand and glorious day, and I'll see you next time.